sort of Zoom meeting, common Zoom meeting in OGM, a group called OGM, and he invited me here. And I have to say, I don't know what I'm in here for, but I look forward to it, whatever it is. My
Join,
background, my
join the
background
club.
is
We don't know what we're all doing here anyway.
Yeah,
my background is
foolishly, Alex trusted me, so he's in
I
for a
did
treat today.
totally. My background is I'm now semi-retired, but I was in IT all my life, project and program management, and now I muck about with AI all the way, all the time. It's to me the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I'm creating small apps left, right, and center. Haven't produced anything for the big wide world, but I'm having endless fun doing it. And the other thing I do is I talk to my friends, people I know, whatever. I give them my workflow, what I do to create apps, and that's what I do. I'll do it for anyone for free because I think it's something like everybody used to have to know Excel or whatever. Everybody must know how to create apps and use AI just like that because anyone can do it. That's it.
You're in the right place, Alex. Welcome.
All right, perfect. So let me share my screen and we'll get this call going.
Alex, I missed the first part of what you said. Where are you located? Where are you in the world?
I beg your pardon, I didn't say. I'm in London, South London,
Nice.
in England, United
Great.
Kingdom.
Oh, well, very good. Welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you.
All right, we have quite a few people that have joined in. So Alex, welcome. And anyone has personal news they want to share with the group? I have. So I'm starting tomorrow a project. A company is hiring me and licensing STS to do 10 different strategic plans. So one for each of their departments. So very, very excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And that's again direct benefit of the hackathon that we did last month. So very, very, very cool. And is Mark on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
So Mark, I was this close really from giving you taste of image and card. It's working. It just I had too much of a fight with Claude all weekend long, and I was missing maybe 1 hour, and you would have it today, but you will have it later this week.
Okay, there are a few little glitches I've noticed too. Okay, so I'd like to share something which is to start with a bit of North London rather than South London humor for Alex's benefit. And so this is an anecdote that I've entitled Copilot Embarrassed. My wife is using Copilot to help with some gnarly issues in a complex document, and it didn't work. She said to Copilot, after 34 steps and you still couldn't come up with a solution, I couldn't take anymore, so I rebooted my computer, and that's all it took. I hope you are sufficiently embarrassed as a machine can be. Copilot replied, oh, Michelle, trust me, I earned that embarrassment. You rebooted the PC and it snapped back instantly, which means the whole mess was caused by a stale connection token on the PC side, and a reboot flushed it out in one shot. Meanwhile, I was here performing a full surgical disassembly of the universe, and you know what? You are absolutely right to bail out and reboot. That was the cleanest, fastest move. If machines could blush, I'd be overheating my GPU right now.
It's just scary that that response is generated.
I thought a bit of humor is a good place to start the week. Unbelievable. I mean, it was pretty amazing that whoever programmed Copilot it was, um, to inject some humor to basically divert people away from the problems that it has. It was kind of interesting.
Great.
Very briefly, I joined Premium LinkedIn for a free trial and got $100 to do a promotion, and I put a link into there, and it's got over 700 impressions within an hour. So, Francis, if you need to experiment, get a free premium update with $100 credit to use their promotions to see if it'll help get the word out. I don't know whether it's worthwhile or not, but I thought, why not do it? So I put the link in there.
Good. I'm doing that from time to time. Thank you, Rick. Alex.
Seeing as I'm new here, I'm not sure at what point I'm supposed to say this, but I have I obviously don't know you. I don't know what you discussed, but I had a thought today about the way AI and vibe coding and everything is progressing, and it's partly philosophical, partly practical, etc. So I was just wondering, do I raise a topic now or later, or I suggest it for another session, or what? I can give you a little taste of the topic if you want, now or later. Doesn't matter.
So the way like this, we call this the AI working group or learning hub, depending on who you ask. But this is a space to share news and talk about what we experiment, what we need, what we have to offer. I think right now we're in the personal news and welcoming new members. So if you want to, you'll give us a teaser of the thing you'd like to talk about, and then if there are a couple of opportunities to delve deeper. One is there will be a deep dive topical breakout at the end of the call today. If some people are interested in what you mentioned and want to discuss it in a smaller group. Otherwise, there's also we're looking for a speaker every week, every Monday, for a 20-minute presentation. So, if you want to give us your teaser now?
Okay, this is more of a discussion rather than a presentation, because the idea is that I sort of bounce ideas off you, or you guys ask me. So it goes like this. When we first started using ChatGPT, I used to start coding then. It was a cut and paste process. We've now evolved 3 years later to the point where I'm using Cursor ID. I don't know how many of you know it, but literally I've got 20 or 30 models I can use. Each one is so nuanced in what it can do. I literally keep changing depending on the problem I'm having to tackle. I keep changing models for the best ones and the cheapest ones and the more expensive ones. And undoubtedly, the more expensive ones are really good. But this morning, for example, there was a really annoying bug in my code that's been working. The code's been working for ages. It was just a little thing. Tried various models. Eventually, ended up using the most expensive model, and it sorted it out. It cost me $5. And it got me thinking that that's not a problem, right? But it got me thinking that we're now in an age where every time you press enter, you will be spending $1 or $2 or whatever. You don't have to, but you can use cheaper models, but then you exchange time. But my thinking is that how much of me stays invested in the process? Because if I get the better models, I press enter all the time and it seems to do what I want. I contribute, but my contribution goes down. If I use cheaper models, I do a lot more of the mental work, which is good. I don't have a problem with that. But now with AI, now mixing cost and efficiency, I find myself saying, I want this. Oh, there's 3 versions of it, 3 types of things. In the old days, when I used to do the grunt coding, I would say, okay, what's the best one, and choose one. Now I say, okay, which one do you suggest? I choose A. Okay, I'd go down the line with that, spend $5-10 on that, and then I say, you know what, I think B was better, and boom, I changed the whole thing. So now you go into I'm not thinking anymore, I'm being lazy, and the world is burning up in the same time. And the third part of this is, as we're heading that direction, do you remember, I don't know if any of you used to use maps to drive, well, you would know that, Francis. To drive from South London across London, we used to use great big map books. And after 2 or 3 times of doing a journey, you used to know it. You know where I'm going, all of you. Now we use sat navs. I can drive 1,000,000 times up and down from North London, South London. I still won't know how to do it because I'll be using my sat nav every time. And I guess that's my point about AI. Are we heading in that direction? And what's your experiences with it? That's the question discussion.
So this is this goes beyond just 1 or 2 minutes. So quick news segment. It's a very important topic. It's a kind of things that we discuss all the time in this group, and definitely this is something that I'm like, we're all going through that, and I'm doing it myself. I went from just like you said, like a bit of vibe coding to more involved like cursor, and then cloud coding. I'm going frameworks like GSD and Forma that even like further removes me, it feels, from the actual work of creating stuff. So these are important questions, both personal, professional, and at the society level. So no answer, I guess, unless Bill has a yes or no answer to that.
Well, I think I didn't. He took his question a lot bigger at the end there, so I was just going to comment on something he said near the beginning, which was I do a lot of vibe coding, and I use Cursor for almost everything, and I play around with the models as well. And what I do is, when I have a very rigorous method for getting from specification and requirements to implementation plan, a phased implementation plan, and then using Cursor to implement the phases. And what I find is I was using Opus 4.6 for everything, and it's really good. It does the best, gets the best results. But then I also played around with like Cursor comes with its own model now called Composer, and version 1 of Composer wasn't very good. However, what I've discovered lately is they've released a Composer 2.0. So what I do is my initial work, I do it in 4.6, Opus 4.6. And then once it's all been sort of structured, it works in structure, I've implemented a couple of the phases in my implementation plan, which could have like 30, 40 phases in it. Then I switch over to the cheaper models, which is Composer, and it does a perfect job. So it's but anytime I have something to do that's a challenge, I'll go to the Opus 4.6. So that's one point. The other comment I wanted to make was on Mark's wife's situation. I always get those kind responses back when I said, why did you do this and all that kind of stuff, when it should have been, you should have done this way and everything. Get these nice messages back, and I've asked it several times. Well, can I get my API credits back from because you took us down that path? And so far they haven't agreed to that.
All right. We're going to move into the AI news. I'm sorry, I didn't have time. There's a lot going on right now in my life, so I didn't have time to prepare a write-up for the AI news. Mark, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you saw?
A little bit, yeah. And mostly mine is related to AI and cybersecurity. And to kick it off, it's interesting that a lot of vibe coding is going on here. And I just want to read a couple of cautions, shall we say. An AI-based hacker development by the Tensai group showed that AI-based hacker developed by Tensai outperformed 99% of human experts, showing the escalating threat. Vibe coding resulted in serious flaws in 1 in 3 applications, noted Forbes. Also, researchers revealed in a different study that apps built using AI vibe coding have 1.7 times more vulnerabilities with 1 in 3 showing serious faults, which is my caution on vibe coding. Other than that, there are various things going on. 99% of security leaders believe AI will transform their defensive strategies, leading to a surge in and need for AI native security architectures. So that's a good thing. China showcased advanced AI, including robotic wolves in recent parades, per this YouTube video, which I have. Meanwhile, hackers are actively trying to disable Microsoft's AI models. Kind of interesting. AI-generated malware and is becoming faster and harder to trace. IBM researchers discovered a backdoor autonomously coded by AI that helps hackers move faster while making attribution more difficult. Obviously not good. And finally, an Israeli startup, their startup AI outperformed 99% of human competitors in the hacking contest, making a significant leap towards AI-driven offensive security, which is a good thing. So that's just a few tidbits from the world of AI and cybersecurity. Francis, to you.
What does that mean, offensive security?
Sorry?
Could you define offensive security?
Well, I think it's being proactive and actually
To punch them in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Proactively.
It could be going out there and actively seeking out hackers and destroying them. And it could be actually having a strategy which says, we're going to follow a number of steps to stop things like ATP, advanced persistent threats. And one method might be to employ network-based defensive methods which will detect and remove ransomware as it goes through the network. So that's another kind of offensive security.
In other news, I've seen that Anthropic has passed the 1 million tokens in context, which presumably leads to better results. I'm saying presumably because in my experience, sometimes more context does not necessarily needs to better outcome, but maybe. So we'll see. In my experience, Anthropic was significantly weaker than Google Gemini to handle large documents. So maybe what they're done now will help them catch up on that front. We'll see. Thank you, Gary. Gary posted a document with the news on the chat. I will add it to the board also, so it will be available moving after the call.
I'll do that now, Francis.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Anyone else has something that caught their eyes this week? All right. So going back to the agenda, it's time for the social breakout. So Rick, do you want to tell us how you'd like us to do it today?
Well, it's hold on a second. I've got 2 mics on. Yeah, just a brief introduction about where your cutting edge is in AI, what you're learning, but also where you would like to learn more and develop an exchange. But the most important thing is to identify people who would like to do a breakout room or present, as Alex was invited to submit a proposal to Francis as one of the featured speakers. So that's it, Francis.
All right. So I am launching it now. So this is a auto assignment. This is small. So you should be 2 or 3 people per room. Should be auto assigned. You have 10 minutes to introduce yourself if you don't know each other already. And again, topics could be what you're working on, what you're hoping to find out or gain or learn, or if you have some ideas for future presentations. So I am opening the rooms now. If you find yourself alone, go back to the main room and chat with whoever is stuck there also. opening the rooms now.
We meet again. Just a second here. You have to unmute. I couldn't hear you. Oops, I have to unmute. No, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Oh, that's nice that you can hear me. I'm saying if I can hear Dale. I'm not hearing Dale. Is it not working for you? I can't hear you for some reason. Let me see if I can.
I can
We
hear
can hear
you.
you, and I left the breakout room because I was all alone.
Yeah, Rick was. Oh, I know what happened. Is Rick was assigned to 2 breaking rooms because he's connected twice.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
So, Rick, one of you is with Dale. So if you want to meet with Dale,
Yeah, I'll see if I'll switch it over here. See if I may have to leave this room and go over to the other room. Let's have
like
a look here.
I don't think we're in the breakout right now. We're in the main room.
No,
So
we're
you
not.
have to go to breakout and pick a room. And Mark, you can join whoever you want to interact with.
That would be great. I'm looking to see where that is. I don't see the breakout rooms.
Breakout rooms. That maybe.
Oh, here we go. I got it. I got it.
All right. See you in 10 minutes.
Okay, so I've been assigned room 8.
Yeah, but
GitHub type code. So I'm just going to wait on that.
Sorry, guys, can I just interrupt? Apologies, Miguel. I
Don't worry.
clicked on the wrong button. I left the room. Mid-screen.
Don't worry, we'll have time. Yes.
Whereabouts do you live in South London, Alex?
I'm in it's a place called Caterham.
I know where Caterham is.
You know where Caterham is? Near Red Hill.
London boy, born and bred. Of course I know. Went all over
How are you?
London with the
Where are you
cricket
from?
club. Actually, Finchley originally, more Hampstead when I was there. I did move to LA 35 years ago.
All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean Caterham, where the Caterham 7 used to be made, and 18 years ago when I moved here, the Caterham 7 workshop factory, original one, was still there. The actual factory was somewhere else, but the actual original thing was there. But then the son of the original founder moved to Australia, and he lived there, and he sold the place and moved the showroom was the showroom by then, moved it down to Crawley, just down the road, for money reasons. Lots of money. The property was very well worth a lot more than the showroom of the Caterham 7.
Yeah, we'll talk more offline, but we want to get back to the schedule. I shouldn't have even interrupted.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyone has anything I've noticed from the social breakout that they urgently need to share with the group?
Yeah, I have a quick one. Dale would like to host a breakout room, and I'll let him frame it, and I will join him there because we had a great conversation. Would you like to set yourself up, Dale?
Right. Well, it's on Rick's initiative. Rick suggested that this would be a good thing for a breakout room. So if other people are interested in exploring this, the thing we were talking about was the evolution of work in the age of AI, specifically focusing on the idea of that people are going to be dislocated from their jobs and how do you deal with the social dislocation of that and the new entrepreneurship in the age of AI is those highly sophisticated programmers that now find themselves without employment. What are they going to do, and what kind of a challenge is it, and what also kind of an opportunity is it for the creation of a new business model for solo entrepreneurs in the age of AI? Is that now it's possible for fewer people to create a value?
All right. Don't do the breakout.
That's the short version of it. Anyway,
You sold it. Thank you.
Call that group, the evolution of work in the age of AI. That would be how I characterize it.
All right. So we're going to move now to the main topic. Alistair.
Good morning and good evening from Johannesburg, South Africa. Francis, and many, many good minds that I see online.
So Alistair is has suggested a presentation on building your business from scratch and lessons learned from practical AI usage in market exploration and development. Not sure if I got that entirely right, but floor is yours, Alistair. We for another 20 minutes.
That's fantastic. I'll keep my mobile on. Thank you so much, Francis, for reaching out. Amazing to see some faces that I recognize from, I mentioned now to Gary, we crossed paths either at Singularity or OpenEXO or Abundance 360. Those are my hangouts where the right sort of minds are. So what I wanted to share, Francis, you pointed out to me 10 minutes per two areas. I wanted to focus on two businesses that I built from scratch. I'm careful what I mention. I checked with Gary, what are you seeing in the different markets? And I'm going to play back what I've done and what I'm seeing specifically in Western Europe market across Africa and Latin America every single week. So I'm not sitting with plants behind me and dreaming up this stuff. I look people in the eye um, and listen to them. And most of the time, I will build stuff from scratch. So I'm going to speak about two things. Synapse Squared is a consulting firm that I built from scratch. And that comes out of the equivalent of the Big Four. I replicated my own mind last year, November, across 4 platforms on purpose because intellectual property is a huge, huge story in the domain of intelligence, not surprisingly. The reason I did that is to be able to scale my own thinking. And the way I did it, I want to focus on you. So you said lessons learned. What have you seen? What have you done? I'm going to speak about some of the things I've done rather than the name of a platform. Before I do this, there are 110 platforms worldwide. I pay attention to about 22 of them, and every single week of my life, without fail, I use 5 to 7, either to build businesses or to work with clients. Without fail, absolutely every single week. And the reason I mention that is two things. Whenever I meet folks that are in a large corporate, very often they're interested in efficiency and they want to do some automation. Now, automation's been around forever. The knee in the curve started in 2017 with Blue Prism in London, which was a bunch of investment bankers that left and decided to automate a bunch of things. And automation has been around so long that I always, always, always say this, whether you're a massive corporate starting with one department, or you're a startup or a scale-up. I like scale-ups because startups need to learn to fail fast, and that's a tough lesson to learn. And the 2 sentences, you'll see I put this on LinkedIn at least once a week. Name the problem that you want to solve or the opportunity that you want to harness. I normally spend about a week on that. It sounds like a long time to spend that amount of time with, especially when I say a corporate, I mean a few hundred employees right up to FTSE level. The minute you go into a large corporate, you will disrupt and send shockwaves into the rest of the organization, but it can be good shockwaves. And the reason I always start with that is because there are so many potent tools available nowadays. I've been on calls a little bit earlier today, and I hear people talking about, I use this platform, Manus, and then DeepSeek, and then Copilot. The answer is no. Become really good at prompt engineering, become really, really, really good. This is the number one piece of advice I can give to anybody. I tell you why. If you pick a problem that you want to solve, you can test that problem on some very, very structured prompts. Um, the last prompt that I used to build an investment bank was 415 pages long. I repeat, 415 pages. And it took 5 weeks to build that from scratch. I own that. It is called Synapse Capital. It's in South Africa and it's registered with a trademark. Now, I mean, I'm not dreaming this up. The whole point is there are people dotted around the world that will sit day and night. Once they've understood correct prompt engineering, there are about 8 sections. And because I only have 20 minutes with you, I'm calling out headlines, lessons I've learned. There are about 8 sections to that. In other words, you have to tell the AI, I'll describe myself. You are a 51-year-old entrepreneur that has worked in German manufacturing. You understand management accounting. You worked in the public sector. You worked in treasury and management accounting. You have very good experience in optimization in a German manufacturer. You've worked across financial services for 20 years. These are the 10 things you got wrong. You have to tell the AI, this is what you got wrong. Must be, without a doubt. This is quality prompting. For example, integration was a massive story every single time I went into a corporate and the data was not clean. And matching of data between many ancillary systems at the bottom that have been around for 20 or 30 years in financial services specifically. And that covers retail banking, corporate and investment banking, vehicle asset finance, personal loans, and all of that sort of stuff. The whole point is, please try this tonight. Try it with DeepSeek. Tell the AI what it is. Describe yourself. So you can say, you are XYZ and describe your own persona. So Daryl Ritchie will describe, I am XYZ. I'm a surfer, I'm a banker, I'm a this. But don't just say that you're a banker or you're a fashion retail person. My name is Daryl or Mark or Dale. I spent 10 years in a bakery. These are the good things that I learned. I never want to do this again. You have to use quite explicit language. And you notice even the way I speak is quite hardcore and 1 and 0 because I'm so used to dealing with AIs. It is like a 5-year-old with an IQ of 200. This is what you are working with, specifically DeepSeek. So if you tell the AI to run across the road, it will figure out that it needs to cross 4 highway lanes, see a large red bus on the right-hand side, figure that out, wait, stop, the bus will pass and then cross the road. This is how potent those instructions are. Now, the reason I point this out is if you don't put guardrails in with very structured prompt engineering, you're going to get peculiar results. I'm less worried about data because unclean data has been known for 30 years. When I see data in legacy systems, I'm 51, I just want to cry because that's probably the number one thing that's going to hurt you is data reconciliation on legacy. So you asked about lessons learned. I'm calling them out as I live them. Data reconciliation is more difficult than data migration and data integration. In other words, legacy, I'll speak about financial services. I meet many banks that have got 30, 40, 50, 60 underlying legacy systems, and they integrate data by extracting from source data, and they will feed AI engines. I'm not going to name them because there are so many out there. The whole point is the principle of design. And if you want to understand any platform well, people think I'm mad. Please have an argument with an AI. Tonight, describe yourself and say, my name is Daryl Ritchie. My name is Mark Fishburne. My name is Alex. My name is Francis. So I'll describe myself. My name is Alistair. I'm 51 years old. I have 15 years in banking, 4 years in the Big Four, come out of McKinsey, advisory, German manufacturer. I got these 10 things wrong in my career. I got these 5 things wrong, or these 5 things right, and they were really, really great success. And then once you've described your persona, tell it that you are going to have an argument with your own brain. I kid you not. Tell it. Tell the AI, do this with DeepSeek or Manus. There's a few other ones in China. Tell it, I want to have an argument with you. The whole point is you will notice that I'm going towards the human side of creativity. You have to do this. You are going to surface character defects. And this is where it starts to get a bit wild. And you'll see that the more AI grows, the more humane we have to become. I do this with leadership teams now. Unbelievably, when you touch things like servant leadership, I'll ask leaders to have an argument with themselves in private at a closed environment on their laptop. Their character defects are surfaced much better than a getaway on the weekend fishing or biking or sitting at the beach. It sounds crazy, but AI leads to excellence and a good state of mind when you argue with yourself and you surface your own character defects. So you can use AI as a leadership growth tool instead of automation. And I've done this with teams before, so much so that there's a golf driving range down the road. There are absolutely no computers, no phones, no laptops, zero. And I only asked 2 questions beforehand. My weakness is baked cheesecake with mascarpone cheese and Colombian coffee. The reason I do this is because I connect with humans first. You have to. When you expose them to super potent tools, in those sessions, they go to a golf driving range. Yes, we really do have baked cheesecake. And then after that, we'll go and sit in a room. And I take them through prompt engineering. This is normally at a leadership level. And that's true advisory services. And I explain, so Alistair, I will have an argument with myself on DeepSeek. I don't mind revealing my character defects. I like things to be super, super accurate. That's a character defect of Alistair. Unfortunately, I might pass judgment on somebody who is not excellent in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is a public recorded call, and in the year 2035, this recording will be available for me to refer back to my state of mind now in what I'm going to design in the future. This is the sort of thinking that I like to pass on to people. And we are going to see a more transparent society, and people that use AI correctly. I could be here for days, but the point is, my takeaway from today, I could speak about building an investment bank and a conveyancing firm with absolutely 0 humans in there. But the whole point is, when I meet with you folks today, is 2 things. Understand prompt engineering really, really, really well. It is instructing a 5-year-old with an IQ of 200. And I'll finish with this. So prompt engineering, and have an argument with yourself tonight. It's not as crazy as you sound, because 2 things will happen. You will understand the feedback of yourself from yourself. And number 2, after this call, you have the opportunity to improve yourself and your character defects using AI. So I'm very aware that my words can be jarring, but if you don't hear this sort of thing, where else will you hear these? This is what I live and breathe in the markets and clients I go into. And the headline is, the more potent AI becomes, the more humane we need to become. and the more empathetic we become, the more effective we become, and the softer and more gentle we become. So this is all I have to say for now.
All right. Thank you, Alistair. So um, uh, I suggest maybe 5 minutes of reaction discussion back and forth, and then we'll talk about which breakout rooms we want to put together. So Rick,
Alistair,
don't take 5 minutes.
No, I loved your presentation, but what I was particularly struck by was how you can use the good of AI for virtuous development, particularly amongst leaders. Would you
Yeah.
like to expound a soundbite or two on that topic?
I'm sorry, Rick, go again. Was that a question or an observation?
Well, no, I was asking you if you would elaborate on the good of AI in helping virtuous development of leaders and organizations.
Balance and good decisions. Those are the two big things that come out. So it does get a little bit wild, unfortunately. Judgment of other people before you go into a market and grow it is very, very important, because the way that you look at your business becomes very transparent when you put technologies in the hand of your clients. And you will attract more clients when you do things like you said, virtuous. I believe very, very strongly in my personal values and what I share with leadership teams. Build businesses and technologies based on trust, integrity, and truth. You'll see that on LinkedIn once a week. Once a week, I am absolutely black and white about this. It is amazing to go into any market, and I know that I have an open, clean organization. If you touch Convey, everything is available for view. You will know every step of every part of the process and where your money goes, how your property is managed, and things like this. Even more so, imagine building an investment bank and saying those words. So it is transformational, to say the least. And yes, this is my response to you. When you say like virtuous activity and mindset, the businesses are built, you will always hear trust, integrity, and truth. Because there's some mad stuff that happens when the wrong people get their minds onto a whole bunch of tools. You amplify rubbish, bad news, bad news. It's bad news. So I'm not a Darth Vader of bad news. No way, it's not at all. Um, I'm a realist about the behavior of humans that gets amplified by AI. I wrote a whole book about this stuff. If you amplify the wrong thing in the wrong direction, bad news. No ways, no ways. So, Rick, sorry about the long answer, but this is what I live and breathe and feel, and this is what's on my mind.
Thank you. Amy.
That was amazing. I really did love that. Thank you. But I had a quick question, two very short ones. You mentioned DeepSeek, doing an argument with ourselves with DeepSeek. I wondered why DeepSeek? And then I'm having a hard time envisioning arguing with myself. So if you could expand on that just a little bit, how I do it.
How delicately do I answer this question? Wow. The reason I went for DeepSeek is because it's in China. There are not many guardrails there. So it is brutal, and that's a good thing. I'm going to leave it there. The same thing goes for manners. But if you want a pure reflection of your mind without um, other people's brains that have taught the algorithm that responds to you. There's a whole long story about machine learning, which is not important here. I like the brutality of the truth out of China and the algorithms. If I can leave it there, there's no filtering or guardrails around the mathematics and the data. It's not a bad thing. I'm
And
very sensitive. I'm talking to people sitting in the US. This is why I'm speaking slowly. But AI is a tricky, tricky place to be in nowadays and an exciting place. So that is the most safe, elegant answer I can offer now, Amy.
all right, so I think the second question for Amy is probably best served on the breakout. So Alistair, if you're available for another 25 minutes, you'll be able to go deeper into some of those questions, like for example, like maybe a more step-by-step or detailed
Yeah.
explanation. Quick question, Mark.
Yeah, I do. I just don't want to let this pass without acknowledging Alistair. I think that, that's what this group is all about, is hearing great perspectives on how to work with AI, and we really appreciate what you did there. Just out of an anecdote, I wrote an article 2 years ago called Training the Unruly Child, which maybe you can relate to, Alistair.
There we go. Yeah,
It's
the
like
child
having
has
a
come
crazy
back.
teenager that is 5 years old, as you put it. So that was pretty good. But I love what you were saying. I'm trying to actually kind of really absorbed it, and I just want to say thank you very much. It was great stuff, and everything you said, I pretty much agree with and learn from. So thank you.
All right, we're gonna go into the breakout now. So thank you, Mark. Thank you, Alistair. Here's what I propose. Everyone that's interested to dig deeper into Alistair's topic, there's also Daryl on the chat that asked for what are the 8 steps and the 5 or 7 platforms that you use the most. So that could be answered either during the breakout or even offline. Alistair, if you want to.
I'll send it afterwards so everybody can look. Otherwise, only
Yeah,
a few
perfect.
folks get to see it. I'll send it afterwards to yourself, Francis. No problem.
Perfect. So that will cover that. Mark?
Yeah, just one more thing. We talked on Friday about putting together a presentation or an invite saying, what the value of the group was, what's its purpose, what people will get from it, what can you bring as a contribution, what's it achieved so far. So that's something I'm working on, and you said I should mention that on this call.
Yes. There'll be more about that topic in the coming weeks, but absolutely anyone that feels so called on that topic that Mark just mentioned. Essentially,
Yeah, the purpose is to actually, promote it when you're explaining what this is to other people, to really get them as to why it's unique and what you can get from it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So breakouts, we have one for the future of work and entrepreneurship. Is there another breakout in addition to the
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base for.
I guess that was Greg. Or not,
Yeah.
maybe not. All right.
No.
So is there another topic is there a need for another breaking room? I'm opening 4, just one as a title right now. And everyone can self-assign to those breakouts. So if there's nothing else, just gonna make sure it will close after 25 minutes. And there will be a countdown, and after that we'll all be brought back here, and we'll be able to close up this call. So everyone that is interested in delving deeper into Alistair's presentation, just stay in the main room, and everybody that's interested in the future of work and entrepreneurship, that was the topic brought by Dale. You can essentially self-assign and go to that breakout room. And during the conversation, if someone wants to go to just explore another topic or whatever, there are 3 other rooms open right now. So maybe Amy, Do you want to repeat your questions? The second one? I think
I
it
was
was,
just
yeah.
asking for about more of I'm having a hard time visualizing arguing with myself. So like kind of the questions to ask, just a little bit more visuals around that.
Perfect. The
Amy, you
context.
want Okay.
No, Brian, go for it.
Amy, you want to argue against yourself. I didn't understand that out of context.
Did you miss the presentation from Alistair, Brian?
I did.
So
Yeah.
then listen and learn.
No, no. It is the other way around. I have a great deal of respect for Brian. We met each other at OpenEXO 6 years ago, I think, Brian. So I have
Yeah.
deep respect for this gentleman. I see his work and stuff online there. So you can skip 6 years and pick up a conversation straight away.
Let's
Arguing with yourself, for example. Take any situation that you might have seen in the past week. It can be at a coffee shop with a family member is a good one, or in a group situation, even better. So 5 or 6 times a week in Johannesburg, I meet different groups of people for coffee. And what I watch is somebody may not agree with something that I say, or two folks might not agree with something. And you can read body language. That person does not like what that guy says. Describe what is happening there, and then give your judgment. Be harsh and say, Brian thinks that Alistair should not have frowned when Francis said, I think it's a good idea to sell pink unicorns in Mexico. Whatever the example is, it might be something like, here is a new two-sided digital marketplace to monetize children's books at the same time as trading their knowledge on a cryptocurrency exchange in Europe on a tax efficiency base in Malta. That's wild. Somebody is going to raise their eyebrows like Brian now, but it's okay. The whole point is not bad. I'm giving a super wild example, but we might sit in everyday circumstances. When I walk out of meetings, I have 3 or 4 coffee shops in Johannesburg that I go and I meet people. I simulate what happens there by instructing. I give the scenario, the situation. I describe myself as a 51-year-old male, like I mentioned earlier. This is my experience, my expectations. These are my perceptions. I tell that engine what I love and what I hate. Those are strong words. They're very strong words. But if you don't do this, your AI is not going to the engine you use is not going to argue with you properly. You have to be quite black and white in terms of what I am, what I see, what I want to know. I sat in this coffee shop. The context was a casual meeting with friends on a Sunday afternoon at lunch. It was relaxed. And suddenly Alistair started talking about investment banking. The guy across the table thinks it's inappropriate because it's the weekend and we've just come from a religious service. Why are you talking about building a business around banking when we're having apple pie at 2 o'clock on a Sunday? That is judgment, and I picked it up on his face. Tell the AI what you see. And the reason I chose DeepSeek is because it's brutal, brutal, brutal. Many of the other platforms, I'm careful to mention here, but some of them are from the US. They will have guardrails around them. It's okay. Guardrails will come, I think, in all of the platforms worldwide, but it is the best experiment to try this evening. The reason I chose arguing and not consulting is because it will give you quite a good flavor of yourself. And the people that you know and their personalities, describe them and then say, for example, I met with Alistair and I found out in that meeting he likes playing tennis on the weekend and he works really late at night and he goes for walks every single morning. I'm a little bit worried that he's quite hardcore and that he doesn't have a soft heart and that he might not be empathetic. I can't make up my mind really what's going on here. Tell the AI what you think about Alistair. And then the outcome that you want. The reason I start with human behavior is because that same thing where you interact with just one AI engine that grows into many, many engines, those 110 I mentioned earlier, and then you go out into clients and you have a look at their problems, because the people that sit in the meeting with you, you describe what happens to the AI. And it's a good way to see, I hate to use these words, but human machine interaction on a one-on-one basis. And then collective intelligence, when you go into clients and they do the same thing, and all of you come back, you truly do amplify yours and collective intelligence of the group of people you work with. Christoph is.
Thank you, Alistair. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Continuing on that theme, what have you learned arguing with yourself? Specific example for you that made you a better person, for example. And do you create a prompt for that? Do you have like a long prompt so that how you want him to look at your conversation? Did you feed him any kind of documentation? Did you feed him some resources?
Yes. So I did know it about myself, but I did not know how to use it with AI. I really like black and white decisions, and this can be quite hardcore. It's useful in business. It is not useful in friendships and relationships. So I would not be a great guy for a dating app, but I would be a great guy for finance, accounting, treasury, banking, German manufacturing. This is just how Alistair is. And some people think of this as a character defect, but I have become aware that because I don't think black and white, I'm decisive because of the rubbish I see in the market with so many of these engines. And unfortunately, people think you pay $50 and $100 there, and I hack around in these different engines. Understand the engine that you use, using your own circumstances in life, business, family, friendship, children. And when you have that suite of tools, be brutal with it, and then test it with clients. I've only done this with 2 or 3 clients where I expose myself first to say, I'm quite hardcore around decisions, but I do a hang of a lot of preparation beforehand. I'm not arrogant. I'm proud of the work I do. So I'm exposing myself recorded on this call now on purpose. These are the conversations I have with clients, unbelievably. I do build trust first, and my opening conversation with them is that when humans collaborate with machines, we have to start a conversation. And our relationship between Alistair, Christoph, Amy, Dale, Brian, Francis must be built on trust, integrity, and truth. I start there first. So the human connection gets built before I touch machines, because they can be wild and there's rubbish out there. So it is a way of thinking, it is a way of consulting, and it is a way of behaving with machines, collectively with other humans, to build collective intelligence.
Thank you. Do you actually prompt the machine, or you just do you create like a lengthy prompt to have some?
No. I don't keep master prompts. I've seen people that keep a library of prompts. Of course, I mean, this is everywhere, and they keep it on lockdown. The most common thing I see is in ChatGPT, where they'll have private prompts that they keep and they reuse it. You can. I never store that online. Because of OpenClaw. OpenClaw is super, super wild. There's nothing locked down about OpenClaw at all. And I keep my prompt libraries private on my machine, locked down in a vault. I think that's a good practical lesson. I do reuse some of them. For example, when I describe myself, I'm always 51 years old. I really do enjoy tennis. I do like baked cheesecake on a Sunday afternoon, those things. It's not as strange as it sounds, because the more humane you become, the better the quality of the response back to you. And also when you engage with clients, when last did you sit with an executive and ask them, what do you love and what do you hate? When I work with you and amplify your capabilities together in a project or a team or a business, the results are really going to be pretty good. They might be pretty good in the wrong direction, so be careful up front about guardrails and your problem you're going to solve and opportunity you're going to harness. Okay.
Rick?
Yeah, if I could just maybe take off on the issue of trust and the preconditions of trust, and would suggest that discernment, verification, truth seeking are the building blocks for trust building.
Yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned, and I'd like to challenge you on this, is that I understand the need for binary thinking and decision making because sometimes it's reduced to that. But the issue becomes more when you're dealing with the differences between complicated and complex problems, where with complex or wicked problems, it's much more nebulous, and binary thinking can actually be a disservice. So I was wondering if you could comment on those two things. One about
Beautiful. This is why we need different humans in the room, because Alistair will be Alistair. There is never one answer with one person. The first thing I love doing, put a creative mind in there. Put a musician in your board meeting. Come on. It's not as crazy as it sounds. Um, uh, uh, I'm 51 and it's tough to change 51 years of history and stuff. And I really work hard at doing things differently. And secretly, people won't admit this online in a recorded session like that. But the more transparent we become, we discover that. So I need creative people around me for sure, no doubt about it. And I invite them into sessions. Surprisingly, in the food industry, bring a musician into a design session. So it you get the flavor of how we behave different. But the cool thing is that for all of the folks listening here, this way of thinking is a differentiator of how we behave with other humans. Now, when we discover the power of AI, when you can amplify things in the wrong direction and you can have binary thinking, um, you don't want accountants in the room, and you don't want only musicians, and you don't only want scientists, and you don't only want artists. So, yes, I think that you guys will get the picture there. Brian makes me nervous because this man starts with mental karate, but I love it. Brian, let me hear from you. It's a personal favorite, by the way, in a good way. It's on mute. It's on mute, Brian.
Real quick, Francis, are there supposed to be breakout groups? I don't see any groups.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see any groups either. I don't think they were created.
So I just have a question for Alistair, because on one side, you want to keep your senses open.
Yeah.
As soon as you start thinking, you actually close your senses down. So how do you have this thinking side and this feeling side coexisting effectively?
Well, here's the trick. I don't have the answer to this because machines can't feel unless you describe what you're feeling. I don't really have an ask me differently what the things I've tried, and I'll do my best to answer.
So let me tell you, if I'm in a meeting and I start analyzing what I feel about people, I'm actually intellectualizing it, and I move away from my gut
No,
feel. As soon as I explain it to the AI, I've lost my guts.
Yes, it's what a circular reference, Brian. I've lived this. It sucks. It sucks because
Sorry,
within a
sorry,
certain
sorry to interrupt. There was a misconfiguration on my part. The breakout rooms are now open for those who want to join either future of work or any other topic. Sorry, continue.
I think this is fun. I'll stick.
Yeah, Brian, it's an amazingly tough conversation. But these are the leadership conversations that you have, because this is almost, I won't say losing identity, but it might be losing identity or revealing identity. I don't have the answer, but I love the question and the conversation. I do not have the answer. That's why folks like this are on the call.
It's almost like you have to immediately take notes of your feelings without and capture it as close as possible.
Yeah, I still don't have the answer because, unfortunately, I mean, I do see many, many kinds of businesses that pop up through incubators and VCs, and that monetizing emotions on recommendation engines for people that are sick or broken or lonely is terrible. But I'm calling that aloud. It's useful to know this stuff. I don't touch it myself, but if you operate in the domain of AI, cognitive science, and business models and those things, you have to be aware. And that's why I keep on coming back to trust, integrity, and truth. Those will stop you from doing rubbish in the economy.
Then,
Thank you, Alistair. It's a great conversation. I I think probably in an argument I'd have with myself, I would confront this question. And it has to do with something you mentioned around black and white decisions in the business context versus the personal context. And
Yeah.
I think it's touching upon what we're also talking about, because we're talking about bringing more of a humane the aspect of us as these tools become more powerful, but also as maybe as a lot of the decisions that are more logic based, or maybe not so, like, don't rely on the human side as much as, say, decisions around budgeting or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so how do you make a clear delineation between the two, but that's hard for me to do. So I don't know if you want to reflect on what I just said.
Yeah, sure. Giving advice to humans around emotions and behavior, I probably won't touch that.
Well, I'd like to comment on that when you're ready.
Please go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, and so I just wrote this article about the different strengths of humans and AI, and and I actually posted it in as a reply to Brian's piece. It's very difficult when you're interacting with AI. It can't listen to the tone in your voice. It can't look at your facial expressions. It can't understand what your background is and your past is influencing your emotions. And I believe that you say that all your decisions are black and white. I kind of don't believe that, because
but this is why prompt engineering is so potent, and it's never the same.
well,
When you tell it what you are, you might describe your emotions like I'm angry or upset or those things. I do think more work needs to be done, and I don't have the answer. And I don't have the answer, but this is what I would try to tell it your emotions, and I don't know the answer.
That's gets to the point that I was making. It's difficult to describe your emotions based on what you're feeling now. It depends on how connected you are to being in the now rather than in the past.
Yeah.
And what's called you're already always listening to when new things come up, and it affects you emotionally. And I think that even if you describe it, you may be kidding yourself on what you're actually writing and communicating, because you want to look good, because you want to be admired, and all those things. I just believe that you have to be very careful with this thing about describing your emotions to AI, because I'm not sure it can get it, because it doesn't have emotions. It's got programmed experience and data. So I would just be very cautious about that. I'm not trying to make you wrong here, by the way. I'm trying to actually.
No, I don't mind.
I'm just trying to offer. That's what these.
Try have an argument with yourself after describing your mood tonight.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, I think that's kind of cute, but in a way, that's you have to experience your experience to keep present, and I think that's very important at all times, not just about this stuff. But I just think it's very, you have to be a lot careful, and having a list of prompts that you want to deploy with your AI agents is a good thing. It's not a bad thing because you've got to keep them on the rails as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish it was that simple, is what I'm saying. And I think that this
Not.
group is a great example of, you know,
Yeah.
people listening to each other and coming to new conclusions which impact their emotions, and you know, they play it into their own political situation as well. And I'm with a small p.
Isn't it amazing that we're talking about everything except AI in the last 5 minutes?
Well, that's why I wrote this article, because I think it's very
That's
important to basically harmonize human strengths with AI
yeah.
strengths, and to create a, you know, 1 + 1 = 5 or 10 or something like that. And I think it's important to understand what the differences are, and so that we can all use AI better. And you know, I love what you said. A lot of things about how you're kind of figuring out how to work with AI to produce, you know, a better result. That's great.
Yeah. No, it's a great group. I love the conversation. Great, great,
Me too.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a couple of questions. One, are you familiar with the Colby Index? Because knowing yourself is what you're really doing here, asking the
Yeah.
question.
No, Colby Index is not, it sounds like a,
Well, it's a mode of operation,
yeah.
cognitive.
No, no,
Uh,
no. Thank you for mentioning that. Colby Index, is that a psychographic profiling type thing?
yes, just check out Colby Corporation, Kolbe. I use that prompt a lot with my own Colby, uh, and we're using it with building synergistic teams of people as
Yes.
well as agents. So I'll just mention that. The other pushback I had here is I put a question in to Opus 4.6 about I just heard about a 400-page prompt. I'm having
Yeah.
trouble understanding the advantages of a 400-page prompt and the value. And it said, your instinct is exactly right. A 400-page prompt is someone confusing volume with value. That's the
Ah,
equivalent of writing a 400-page employee manual and expecting a new hire to memorize it before the first day. So I'd just like to hear your thought on that, because obviously you see value or you wouldn't be doing it.
it's I use that to simulate a 30,000 person investment bank, and every single function grouped together of all the minds around there, around structured synthetic exotics, derivatives, cross pairs, 7 exchange rates with investment bankers for private trading with commodities underneath that: wheat, oil, gold, coffee, wheat, beans. It's an absolutely massive beast. So the reason it is so long is you have to group the thinking of many, many humans, a few thousand humans, and the types of functions that it would take to run an investment bank. This is why it's 415 pages.
I can I can see the value of providing the technical information and vision there, and you're putting it all together. So it's obviously well thought out before you ever make the prompt. Thank you for explaining that.
Can I ask a question on top of that real quick? So I've had some very long system prompts as well, but the challenge we're all up against is the finite context window in each of
Yeah.
these sessions that they have. So I mean, if you're jamming that
Right.
system prompt, you're limiting the conversation. How are you managing context windows with those prompts?
A 5 week conversation across 4 engines until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's how. There's no one thing. You have to collaborate collectively and store the notes separately. I come out of banking. What I did is I described everything around that. I grew with the prompt as the output grew. Giving it a once off 400, that's never the answer. You have to grow with the machines. and limits of context protocols and limits of the length of a prompt. It's not good to upload 415 pages. You can do this, but on page 38, for example, it'll become misguided and go in the wrong direction. You have to go through the pain of collective intelligence, where you collaborate and continuously prompt, and it's like guardrails, and you walk that journey. So that's how it's never a once-off massive prompt. I only recorded it because I'm going to reuse that thinking, collective intelligence, and the steps that I went through on multiple platforms to build other businesses. So this is a lesson learned.
I want to thank Gary for doing his prompting, because for me, what it nicely illustrated is the issue of collaborative co-intelligence, which is different, which is to, co-intelligence per se, which is how do we harness the slow thinking of human wisdom, which AI doesn't have. And Alistair, I think in your development, you're using slow thinking to create something that would get a banal response from asking your AI engine to respond to, in terms of, what's the value of it, because it hasn't developed the capacities and capabilities of what you.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the issues. The other thing I want to come back to is the issue of virtues versus values, and we need ethical discernment between the two. In the hackathon, I proposed that we had a hackathon on developing virtuous AI agents, and I started doing my research on it, came up with 12 agents.
Beautiful.
Rather than arguing with yourself, is to get the different virtuous agents based on different philosophies arguing amongst themselves about an issue. Now, I haven't gone as far as I'd like on that. The last
Very
point,
good.
the last thing is to go back to what Mark was proposing, which I want to follow up with, which is we spoke about the Anthropic Constitution. I think we have an AI learning hub constitution that surpasses what Anthropic. Because I'm not impressed with it. It's okay. It's a baby step.
Guys, I'm glad I'm in South Africa.
And all I can say is how can we use our collaborative co-intelligence, as we've been doing here today, to evolve a constitution that makes sure the good of AI mitigates against the bad and eliminates the ugly.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Beautiful question. Beautiful question.
Thank you, guys. I know you could go on for another 4 or 5 days, so I'm going to cut you short. Rick, you had some thoughts on how we should conclude these calls?
Well, I think definitely we need to record it, do an AI summary of it, and use it as a launching pad to keep the thread of this going, because we have to get away from these events that are a series of full stops and using commas. So it's an iterative feedback loop.
Yeah, exactly.
In developing our own constitution that we feel that we can live by our virtues and values. That's it.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Love it.
So I heard quite a bit of good feedback throughout today's session. If you'd like more of that or none of that, feel free to message me either publicly or privately, depending on how you feel about it. Thank you very much, Alistair. Next week, we are scheduled to have a presentation by Katrina. The week after that, I think I don't know. So we are still looking for other presenters, leaders that can provide us with stimulating thoughts and ideas that will move our group, our lives, our industry, our society further.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else before we close this call?
Thank you.
Going once,
Francis,
going
you will
twice?
send me the recording?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Alistair. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Great week.
Hey, Francis, while you're on while people are quitting. Sorry, I didn't reach back to you last week, but I definitely want to follow up with you if you're available in the next couple of days.
Yes.
Let me know what your agenda looks like.
Yeah. Later this week, I'll take a note and I'll reach out to you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And if you send me the recording later on today, I'll have it posted today.
Yeah.
Francis, a
I
thought
hope-
for you.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot, by the way.
No. There's a recurring theme coming
Yes.
back, which is about diversity. It would be really interesting someone who's willing to take that as a challenge. How do you use AI to bring in diversity? And there are ways to do it systematically, and I think it'd be something interesting to everybody that's here.
Yep. Anyone else has anything else? I've just saved the recording.
I don't know what Daryl you spoke with Francis yet about setting up a date. You were willing to host a session, so I don't know whether you've communicated enough. But are you up to the challenge, Daryl, to do a presentation?
Yes, I'm going to have to. I'm waiting on the date of shoulder surgery, so that's got to take precedence, and then I'll be able to tell you a date because I have to have rotator cuff repair.
Okay.
All right.
Get well.
I'm shutting the call now. Bye, everyone. I hope the operation goes well, Daryl. Robin.
Hi, Francis.
Hi. I don't think I know you.
We met in an EXO world sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Before, but I'm in the wrong place.
All right.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just leaving.
No
See you
problem.
then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.